So, as we've been on vacation this week, we have been able to go to the beach, enjoy the sand, feel the water, and we've even been lucky enough to see some jellyfish on the shore and see the dolphins swimming in the ocean. However, at the same time, we've also come home, used a lot of plastic water bottles, gone through a lot of plastic bags, and it's just interesting, like who would have thought that our usage of plastic also affects the ocean that we love to go visit. So plastic can be very detrimental to the environment and the areas surrounding us, and there's oftentimes a lot better alternatives. Because plastic is used by millions daily and it kind of affects everyone. So I've been able to do my research on this topic and have looked at all the information available. So I'm going to begin the speech by explaining just like why plastic is an issue, and then I'll talk about alternatives of plastic, and then lastly just some laws that are being passed regarding the usage of plastic. So how is plastic an issue in the environment? So according to Waste Management, in 2014 in the United States, there was 103.465 billion single-use bags used. However, these have a very low recyclability rate, so they're often either left as litter, marine debris, or impair the stormwater management systems. Additionally, according to Nature News, in 2012, there was 280 million tons of plastic produced globally, and however, only 50% of that went to either landfill or recycling. So some of the negative impacts that come with using plastic is how it affects our marine life and our environment. So we don't know exactly how much plastic is in our ocean right now. However, Jenna Jambeck, who is a University of Georgia engineering professor, estimates that there is about 5.3 to 14 million tons in our oceans, and that's just the coastal regions. So we also aren't sure how long it will take for the plastic to biodegrade. So it's been estimated at 450 years to never degrading. So waiting for plastic to biodegrade is basically like watching grass grow. Like it's a very slow and just painful process. So the usage of plastic kills millions of animals each year. The National Geographic has said that it affects about 700 different species, and this includes endangered ones. So some of them can be affected visibly. So you've all seen the pictures of the turtles with the straw stuck in them, or all the animals getting caught in the loose fishing net or with plastic bags. So that's one way they can be affected, but another way is that they're infected invisibly. So all marine species of all sizes now currently eat microplastics. So according to the Environmental Science and Technology, microplastics is just pieces of plastic that are smaller than 5 millimeters. So that's kind of what those are. And according to the National Ocean Service, microplastics come from a number of different sources. So it can either come from just bigger pieces of plastic that get broken down, or they can also come from microbeads. So microbeads are used as exfoliants, and they're put into our health and beauty products. So they can be added to face washes or toothpaste. So just who would have thought that our things that we use necessarily every day is also impacting our marine life. So now that I've talked about just why plastic is an issue, I'm going to move on to some of the alternatives using plastic. So the first alternative I want to talk about is getting a reusable water bottle. So getting a reusable water bottle just saves you from having to use the single-use ones, and it can also save you money. So places like Starbucks will give you a 10-cent discount if you bring your own cup in. And so some of the best brands to get are the Hydro Flasks or the Yetis or the Simple Moderns. So I have my Simple Modern one. It's been nice because I've used it all week, and it just helps keep your drink cool. So then the second alternative I want to talk about is saying no to plastic straws. So plastic straws and just not using them has been a very popular event lately, and a lot of restaurants and just companies have followed through this in order to save the turtles. And so one things that the restaurants do is they don't really give out plastic straws anymore. They've either switched to paper straws or they use sippy lids. So a lot of Starbucks now have the cups like this where they don't come with a straw, and you can only get a straw if you request it. So then the last one I want to talk about is not using plastic bags. So these oftentimes are used at the grocery stores, and these are used, the average American goes to about 500 a year. And like I said, they do not recycle well, and they often do not biodegrade. So an option is at your grocery stores, usually they have their own bags you can buy, or you can bring your own bag and you can just put your groceries in there instead of using the single-use plastic ones. So now that I've talked about just like why plastic is an issue and the alternatives, I'm going to move on to some of the different laws that are being passed. So in order for just the plastic to be banned, there's been a lot of interventions happening lately, and it's also been happening all around the world. So different countries have put bans, or they put partial bans, or they put fees on using the bags. And according to the Science Direct, there's countries in Europe that have a fee on the bags. So if you use a single-use plastic bag, it will put a fee on it. And additionally, there's countries in Africa and Asia that have completely banned using plastic bags. So California is one of the latest states to be very proactive about this. They, according to CNBC, they've already put curbs on using plastic straws and plastic bans, and they recently introduced a bill that would phase out all single-use plastics by 2030. So this would be like our straws, our bags, and also like food containers, and just a lot of the containers that don't recycle well. With this bill, they want to get rid of those. And so one thing is, in 2014, California was the very first U.S. state to put a ban on single-use plastic bags. And it was interesting because after they did this, 4 other states followed in their footsteps. And so one thing that they've seen is when they're proactive about it, other states follow. So they're trying to be very progressive about this. And Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez has stated that we have to stop treating our planet and our ocean like a dumpster. So really, it's our responsibility to take these steps and to use alternatives in order to just help our environment be better. So in this speech, I was able to talk about why plastic is an issue, and I was able to give alternatives to plastic and also talk about some of the local laws that are happening. So plastic can be very detrimental to the environment, and there's often better alternatives that can be used. It is used every day by millions, and it just affects all the surrounding areas. So while we've had kind of fun on our vacation, I just hope that next time we can kind of just look at our plastic usage and just be a lot more aware about it. So next year when we meet, hopefully our plastic usage can go down a little, and we'll be a lot more conscious about what we're doing.
Very good. All right.